Good evening, everyone. This is your host, Atar Ahmed, team lead startup.pk, and a warm welcome to you all in another exciting episode of startup.pk Pitch Fest. Yes, today are we having startup.pk Pitch Fest 17. Until now, we have invited over 70 plus startups to pitch their ideas in front of renowned mentors, judges, and coaches. To start the session, let me share a tip for the startups. And today's tip is put the right team in place. In order to achieve your ultimate goals for your business, you will need to surround yourself with people who understand your vision and fit into the culture and mindset of your company. Yes, that's your tip for today. Now let me tell you about what is Startup.pk and how we help the startups and entrepreneurs. So Startup.pk is an online platform, and it is designed to help the startups, entrepreneurs to get the right information, knowledge, opportunities, and networks. And we help the startups to grow, scale, and succeed. In today's Startup.pk Pitch Fest, we will have a number of startups who will pitch their ideas in front of our renowned judges, and then they will provide them the feedback about their business model, about some other mentoring or coaching tips. And then at the end of that Q&A session, they will score the startup. Before we proceed, I would like to introduce our valuable judges and our honorable judges who had the time to join us today. Our first judge is Gustavo Pericando. He is the founder of the StartupSpace.io. He's a startup builder. He's an innovation manager, strategist, investor. And about the StartupSpace.io, it's an accelerator program that helps the multi-sided platforms and marketplaces to achieve a critical mass of users. And his expertise areas include the platforms and marketplaces, go-to-market strategy, entrepreneurship education, marketing and customer acquisition, and of course, pitch training. So thank you very much, Gustavo, for joining us. And would you like to add a few words?
Thank you, Atar. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, all the community and the ecosystem of Startup PK. I'm really happy, and I'm sure I'll enjoy and try to bring some value to your ecosystem. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Gustavo, for joining us. And I'm sure that your feedback will be very vital to our startups who are pitching with us and who are here with us today, and a lot of other startups who are watching us on Facebook. So thank you very much for joining. Our second judge is Rida. Rida is the founder of I Explore Dreams. She is a serial qualified liar and a commercial innovation consultant. For your information, I Explore Dream was part of the Y Combinator 20 Startup School. She has over 16 years of experience in the private, public, and the voluntary sector, and her expertise areas includes the business plan, financial modeling, hybrid business model, startup and growth strategies, business incubation, and mention. So thank you very much, Rida, for joining us. And would you like to add a few words?
No, I'm just really thrilled to be part of this ecosystem and to be supporting the Pakistani community in Pakistan itself. So I think it's really encouraging that you've initiated this level of activity. So I'm really looking forward to hearing more about the startups.
Thank you very much, Rida, for joining us. Thank you very much. So before we proceed to the pitches, I have some rules and some regulations so that we can have the more effective pitches and the judges could provide them more good feedback. So the startups will have 3 minutes or some video pitches where they will pitch their idea to the judges. I will be using a scorecard and some timing signals. So when my background gets green, that means your pitch time has passed 1 minute. When my background goes yellow, that means your pitch time has passed 2 minutes. And when my background goes red, that means the 3-minute mark is up and you have to wrap up your pitch. Now, after that, I will invite both of the judges to start asking the questions. After they ask the questions for some clarity and then provide them feedback, we will let the judges to score the startups. The judges can score the startups on the scale of 1, 2, 4, or 5. There is no 3, unfortunately, in the scoring. So 1 is the lowest and 5 is the highest. And I would request the judges to please comment or chat their scores in the Zoom group chat so that all the startups can see the scores. So with this, we move on to our very first startup of the day, that is the creators. And we have a video pitch from the creators. So let me share my screen, and then we will have the team of the creators to answer the questions and the feedback of our judges. So we will start with the first pitch, and let me share the screen.
What started as a school project has now become our identity. Hi, I'm Musa from the creators. At first, the idea was to use old toys and household scrap and convert them into home decor. My first stall was in the school entrepreneur bazaar. I invested 1500 rupees and earned 7000 rupees that day. My mom saw the potential and suggested if I want to transform this venture into a proper startup. My brother Musa and Momin also joined forces, and so we decided to use plumbing pipes and old cycling parts to make unique lamps and clocks. Every lamp has a story behind it. So far, we have sold more than 100 lamps. We share a spot in our dad's shop called Aerocycling. Most of our customers are foreigners. We also have good following from Lahore. We now want to create our own line of furniture, kind of like IKEA. Furniture for students, apartments, offices, and even homes.
Perfect. So before we hand over to our judges, can I have the creator teams on screen, and could they share more about their startup with the judges? The creators team, are you with us?
Yes, we're with you. Hello.
Perfect. So would you like to add a few words about your team? What are you doing?
Well, we started this in a school entrepreneurship week, and we thought of an idea of recycling old items and making it into brand new lamps and home decor.
Perfect. So let's start.
But now we use types innovation. Yeah.
Perfect. So let's start with the feedback from the judges, and let's see what are the questions they are going to ask you and give you some feedback. So I will start first with Gustavo. So Gustavo, please proceed.
Thank you. Hello, the creators. Very nice to meet you. Well, congratulations for your effort and for becoming entrepreneurs. I'm sure you're going to have a beautiful journey ahead. And I'm really happy to see your business. Can you talk a little bit more about what do you think a business is? What is the role, the purpose of a business?
The purpose of business is that if you make something and the other person has to like that thing, so he buys it. When he buys it, you have to earn profit in business. So the business is all about making people happy and earning profits.
Awesome. What is your name?
Musa.
Musa, I agree with you 100%. So you said that you sell something to somebody, to a client, and they become happy, right? So that's the exact purpose of a business, to solve a problem. So you're there to solve a problem. As you correctly told me, you're making people happy, right? So how do you see, any other problems you're solving with your business at the moment? Part of making people happy with your furniture?
We are solving one thing. People mostly these days are always sad. It's we're making joy in their lives.
Nice. You want to bring beauty to the homes and make people happy. That's really cool. So you told me you sold already 100 lamps, right?
Yes.
Do you have a shop somewhere, or do you sell on the internet?
We have a shop in G8. We share the shop with our dad, Aerocycling. in Jade. Over there, we sell our lamps.
Okay, and you have a website where can you sell the lamps as well?
Instagram.
Instagram? All right.
Yeah.
How many you sold through Instagram?
About 20.
Nice. Okay, so my feedback is just try to promote more and digitally your business, because then you can reach a broader market, right? Many people from other countries can learn about this story and share your story as well. So use your story to tell people how you can make them happy. So that's my feedback.
Thank you. Thank you.
Enjoy. Thank you and congratulations. I hope to see you very successful in the future.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So let's take feedback from Rida.
Hi, boys. That was really, really impressive. I'm so impressed by how you put that together and presented your startup. So I have a few questions. I think the staff have covered quite a lot of material with you. But what do you consider to be the ultimate problem that your users have? Is everyone happy? Will everyone become happier with your beautiful art?
The lamps are a bit heavy. Lamps are a bit heavy.
Sorry?
Lamps are a bit heavy.
The lamps are a bit heavy. Because I've actually previously run an art business. Sorry?
You cannot keep it outside. Like if you want to keep it in a lawn or something, you cannot keep it there.
Okay.
You have to keep it inside.
So, do you consider these pieces to be artwork, or do they have a functional purpose in your mind?
Both.
Okay, great. And who are your end users? Who's the audience? Who are the people, the 100 pieces that you've sold? Who are the people that are buying these from you?
20 above.
Sorry?
20 above.
20 years above. And do they have, like, are your pieces very expensive or they're affordable? You mentioned IKEA. IKEA is very affordable. So
They're not, like, for some people, they're not affordable. For some people, they are.
Okay, so it's kind of mid-range.
Yeah.
And what happens, say, because I've had a gallery, several galleries in the UK, what happens if someone like me loves the product and they are very original, really kind of edgy, really urban, so I do really love that. And I think they would appeal to kind of hipster market in Europe, in the UK, and I'm sure lots of other audiences. What will you do if you get an order for 1,000 pieces? How will you scale this? I assume at the moment, is there 3 of you working on these pieces, or do you have a wider team?
We do have our mom to help us.
Our mom helps us in like the marketing and online stuff, and like we make the lamps, and our father is like the electricity supplier. He gets us stuff.
But so what will you do? Will you have your mum working day and night to produce 1,000 pieces? Like, say if you get a really big order, how will you scale up?
We'll expand our team. We'll like get other
great.
people to make it easier.
And do you think there's scope for you to kind of wrap what you're doing in some kind of technology?
We're headed towards that. Yeah.
So do you have an idea of what that would be, how that would work?
We are now going to make some furniture and some. Now we're going to try to make lamps waterproof. And they will be like censored, like some lamps will be turned on by a clap and something like that.
Okay, fantastic. So the other question that I have, so there's 2 ways you can grow and scale. So one would be that you increase the price and you turn them into very exclusive sculptural artworks, in which case you create less and they all have a unique identity. So they then go into the art market, and that way, if you're producing less, you can sell them for more. But you would need to start having them exhibited in exhibitions, in fairs, and contact auction houses. You know, there's position them with art collectors, or you can go for the IKEA kind of middle of the range, very affordable. And I think that it's great that you're thinking you can expand your team, maybe more than just your mum. My kids do the same to me. They think mum will do everything. So I sympathize with your mum. So I think there's lots of scope for you to think about, like, the strategy you have and who your end user is. So if your user is someone who's 20 plus, they don't have that much money because they've just graduated, they want an affordable piece that's a bit funky. So you could have one range that you sell online that's very cheap, and you find a way to produce this very quickly and very cost effectively. But then actually, a lot of your pieces remind me of Amin Gulji's work a little bit, where you could sell one piece for 10,000 or 50,000 or something, and have these exclusive pieces and position them with celebrities or big art collectors or corporate art collectors. So I think there's two ways that you can think about your branding and your image. And obviously I haven't seen your website or your Instagram, and I'll certainly have a look at it. And you can kind of start partnering, forging strategic partnerships with auction houses, galleries, and that sort of thing to really raise the profile and enhance the value of your company. But really tremendous effort, really, really fantastic work.
Thank you so much for the advice.
No problem.
Wonderful, boys. So I see a lot of potential, and the judges are quite happy with what you are doing today. So a bit of advice for you. So maybe you could start preparing your pitch presentation so that we could give you an opportunity in the upcoming PitchFest, and you will pitch to more judges and get more feedback and your startup. So thank you very much for joining us, and I would request the judges to please drop their score in the Zoom group chat. While the judges are dropping, wonderful. So while the judges are dropping their scores, I would request our next startup, Slosh AI Aman, to please share her presentation.
Can you see me? Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see the slides. Can you?
Yes, thank you.
In the presentation mode? Wonderful. That's great.
Okay. Should I start?
So yes, please, I will start your timer and then you can start. So your time starts now.
Okay, this is Eamon from Slosh AI Solutions. Let me start with the backstory. I lost a sister in the fight of cancer. She died because her cancer was diagnosed at a very later stage, and we tried everything in our power to save her, but we were unable to save her. She was a PhD doctor, and she wanted to do so much for humanity and her country, but there was nothing that we could do. So I came up with a startup. I came up with this idea in November 2019, and I started working on it. And the problem that the cancer that I'm dealing with is brain tumor. It causes many death each year. It's the 10th deadliest cancer in the world. Number of radiologists is less as compared to number of patients, and the major modalities, MRI images, and biopsy is not preferred on the brain because opening it is difficult, and medical imaging startups are growing worldwide at a very fast pace. Then if there is a delayed diagnosis, that means a delayed treatment, which
Eamon, would you mind just speaking a little bit slower?
Okay.
Thank you. Just take a breath. It's really fantastic.
Okay. Actually, finishing it gets like a bit tough, and 3 minutes is a huge startup. So, okay, I will start again. Okay, Athar, should I?
Yes.
No, you can just carry on from where you are.
Okay. So the major modality is MRI images for brain tumors, and biopsy is not preferred in brain. So medical imaging startups are going worldwide, and they are very less in number in Pakistan. Delayed diagnosis means delayed treatment, and misdiagnosis means that there was a tumor and it wasn't diagnosed in time. So the product that I am developing is that my system takes in MRI images as input, and it runs the artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms on the MRI images, and it generates a report, a prognosis report of the patient and the staging of the patient's tumor, if there is any tumor, and then the doctor verifies our report. There is another approach whether we can use a standalone system or we can go with the cloud-based system. The hospital sends us the MRI images, and we will run it on our system in our headquarters or in our office, and we send back the report, and the doctor verifies it in office. So sorry.
Eman, please continue.
Okay. So our target market customers can be hospitals, radiologists. We can do this in diagnostic centers, different diagnostic centers, and cancer patients can also use it as a second opinion tool. Our business plan strategy is that in the year zero, we wanted to do incubation and team building. So right now we are incubated in National Incubation Center, Islamabad, and we have a good team. We have developed our team. We are currently working on, in year one, we are creating our product. We are trying to acquire the market. We are searching about our market. We are trying to acquire some seed and starting funding. And then in the year two, we will be improving our product and testing it in different hospitals. And in the year three, we will be launching our product. So most probably in year three, we will be starting generating some revenue. And later on, we will be improving the product and expanding our business in other terms. So the competitive analysis that is market is growing in neuroimaging, it's growing worldwide. There are many names of big startups that are already settling. They're getting FDA certifications and everything in the markets. And it is expected that it will, the market will generate a revenue of $246.48 million in 2026. Currently it's low, but it's growing at an exponential rate. It's growing very fast, and it's already penetrating in Europe, Israel, USA, China, and all of the markets are getting this. They're switching towards these AI-based CAT systems for the tumor and cancer detections. So there is a good team of advisors that I have. I'm very thankful to them, and I have a good team. There are 13 to 14 people in my team. We have Python developers, we have machine learning engineers, we have marketing team, we have content writers, and we have a very good management team as well. Thank you.
Wonderful. So let's start the feedback session with Rita.
Hi, Ayman. That was really, really impressive. A fantastic presentation. So really, really well done. And I think for me, one of the most important elements of that was the passion that you have behind it, and the fact that it's such a meaningful sort of concept and product that you're developing. So really, really powerful and really, really well done. So I just have a few questions. You've mentioned your user groups. Have you engaged any of these users at the moment? You mentioned hospitals, radiologists, cancer users. Have you done sort of market research, interviews?
Yes, we have done some little bit of market research, but right now, because of this COVID-19, there is this issue that getting in hospitals and getting the time of doctors is a bit difficult. After the incubation, we did it like last year in November, but after this COVID, it's getting a bit tough to penetrate the hospitals. So we got incubated like 1.5 months ago, and we got the office space like 2 weeks ago. So currently we are focusing more on the product development side, and we are also doing our competitive analysis and our hospital analysis. We have created the list that which hospital we will be targeting for pilot versions, which hospital will be our business partners. So we have done that research, but right now we are not penetrating there because reaching them is a bit difficult in these times. But we are focusing more on coding right now.
Rita, you are muted.
So sorry about that. So one of the things that I'd really encourage you to consider is to really take a step back. And if you're developing your product, you must engage your users. So let me just ask you, do you know any doctors yourself? Personally,
yes,
in the family? Okay,
yes,
so how many doctors do you know?
There is one radiologist. She's very close to me. She's the sister of she's my sister-in-law basically. So,
okay, great. So what I would
yes,
suggest, what I would suggest that's really important is that you try to draft a series of interview questions that relate to the features that you're developing on your product, and also then open it up to non-product related features, because sometimes you can make the mistake of developing a product that you think is required, but you need the insight and feedback from the end user to refine exactly what you're doing. So in ours, we have a board of brilliant brains, which is made up entirely of children, and they constantly feed back ideas, and we've pivoted a number of times because we realized we could have gone really off tangent and developed something that we thought was a great idea, but I'm not the end user. So I would really urge you to speak to your sister-in-law, ask her to recommend 4 or 5 people she knows, speak to a couple of doctor friends, set up Zoom interviews, and set up, design a list of questions that relate to the product, the assumptions that you're making in relation to the product. And you need to have an evidence-based approach to what you're developing. So I'd really recommend that you do that. And I think the market research is quite clear, and it's easy to have that evidence base, but having a user base that you've interviewed would be really, really powerful and really influence your product and how it evolves. So the other two or three questions I have is around how much this has cost you so far, and how have you seed funded it so far?
Okay, so currently you might be surprised that the whole team that is working with me is just working for the noble cause. I'm not paying anyone, and they're happy to work with me. I have internees and I have the fresh graduates as well. And can you believe that they are a very good team, that they are always there? I just ask them, do this, and they are doing it. They're doing very well. They're doing very good results. They're producing very good results. Currently, we are going to do a friends and family seed round, our first round, and we are hopeful that we will be raising some money so that I could start paying those at least the graduates that are with me.
So how much money do you expect to raise through friends and family, and what will it be used for?
I will be using it for the employee pays, and I am also planning on buying one GPU based system for myself, because currently we have applied for Amazon system AWS. So it's good, but I think we should have at least one GPU backend that is always there deployed for this computations thing. So I think 20 to 30 lakh PKR we are targeting for that. I don't know how much we will raise, but we are targeting for that.
Okay, and then how many members of your team will be full-time if you raise that money?
Yes, it will be 5 to 6 members will be full-time other than me. The 4 to 5 members, they are already right now they are working full-time, but later on I will start paying them, so they will be sitting in office 9 to 5. They still don't have an issue. Whenever I call them, my office is open for 2 weeks, and whenever I say come to the office, everyone, even the attorneys, even the employees, they are always there. They never say if there is any big issue, they are not there, but mostly they are there.
Okay, so my very last question is, what's your long-term plan and vision? Do you just want to grow this? Would you, if you secure investors, what's your exit strategy?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
If you intend to grow this, what's your plan? Is it just that the mission is so critical that you just want to grow and evolve? Or if you have your seed funding and then Series A, Series B, and you're raising investment to keep it growing. So do you intend to raise investment? And if so, how will an investor get a return on investment? Will it be, what's your exit strategy?
Okay, first I have the plan of different investments. I'm just on the prototyping stage. I'm developing it. As you know that AI businesses are quite slow. They keep developing things, and for that they need funding. They don't produce an output right away. So I plan that at first, the year 2 end, I will be most probably deploying the pilot version of my product, and then during the testing phase, I will go for the seed funding. That it's testing and it's going back. And exit strategy would be that I will also start working on other projects as well. I plan on working on strokes as well, other tumors, other things, the medical imaging things. I will also be working on that.
Okay, and so how far off are you in developing your prototype? Is it going to take 6 months, 1 month, a year?
Yes, it will take at least 6 months to produce a good accuracy system, to join all the systems.
I think it's a really, really fantastic project. I would just really urge you to engage your user and your audience a lot more. And I'd really recommend that you sign up with Y Combinator. They have an online startup school, and I think it would really help you focus and really scale quickly. So you'll learn a huge amount, especially since there's so much momentum and so much goodwill behind it.
I'm currently linked. Yes. I'm currently linked with the National Incubation Center, Islamabad, Pakistan. Is the biggest center in incubation center in Pakistan. They're also providing me mentorship.
But I think because I've been part of lots of accelerators, each one will bring you different insight and expertise. It's just a suggestion.
That would be really good if you share the name. I will also sign up for it.
Sure.
Yes. Thank you so much.
No, it's superb. Really, really wishing you good luck.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Let's take feedback from Gustavo.
Thank you, Rida. I really agree with most comments Rida has made. On Ayman, congratulations for your page. Very fantastic business, and it's a good issue you're trying to tackle. So congratulations. I do recommend that you sign up for Y Combinator school as well, the online school, which is a really cool program. You can Google it and you'll find really useful. And my first question is, where do you position yourself according to your competitors? Who else are doing this machine learning and using AI to assess the images? And how advanced are they? And what is the market in Pakistan of companies doing that same, pretty much similar software?
Okay, in Pakistan, there is a company named Alexa. It was also incubated in a National Incubation Center. It got graduated. So they are working on breast cancer, and there is no startup currently right now that is working on brain imaging. I am the first startup in Pakistan.
Okay, and outside Pakistan, do you have any?
Outside Pakistan, there are 3 to 4 startups that are working good, that are getting FDA certifications. There is ADOC. ADOC recently acquired for brain tumors. Then there is Brainomics. There are different startups that are working on strokes, and there are other startups that are working on brain tumors. So yes, there are worldwide, and they are penetrating different markets. I just read that in China, there is much more need of these things because the population is too much, so they take these products in hand, and they are willing to take it. And in other countries like Europe and UK and USA, they are going towards the advancement that they want to give rest to their radiologists, because there is so much load on radiologists. It takes 20 to 30 minutes to read the scan. So if he or she just has to sign and verify the report, that would be really great. It can help them. Like both of us doctors and engineers can work on one page. They can work together.
Okay, who would you benefit most? The health institution, the doctors, or insurance companies? Who do you think would pay for that solution, the economical buyer?
My current goal is that basically it's a big business. I know it's a very big business, but my first concern is that even if it doesn't do any business, I will just give it to any hospital for the mankind, for the humanity, because this is the thing that I have suffered. I have lost someone because of it. So if it's going to give the solution to even one patient, that's enough for me, because obviously the market is very big. I have shown you that market is growing. Medical imaging marketing is growing like an exponential rate. But for the pilot version, I plan on installing it in the hospitals, and there are some hospitals in my city that take these things, they test them, they help me, they give me doctors, they help me, they help in giving data, and they just do it for mankind. Like they take in free patients. So I plan on giving improving the accuracy with those patients.
Yeah, I recommend that you think about how you can become more and more sustainable in the future as a business, because if you have more resources, right, you can do more R&D, you can acquire more human capital, you can acquire more technology to improve the effectiveness of your solution. So what I'm asking is, who is going to be your final client? Who are you going to sell this product to?
There
to
are
the
cancer hospital. There is Shaukat Khanum Cancer Hospital in Pakistan. It takes so many. It has the largest number of cancer patients in Pakistan. So it's the market.
How are you going to benefit them? Are they going to reduce the assessment times for the radiologists? That's the main benefit, and then they can identify.
Yes, the time is reduced because the doctor will have to just verify the report and just see. Look, for example, if you take this, let me just make it clear that if a radiologist made that it's a brain tumor and he made a report, and when the report is taken to the neurologist or oncologist, the oncologist just take a look at the report and he goes on with the treatment. He doesn't sit and read the whole report again, do the diagnosis again. He just goes on the report. So this is the thing that we are planning, that the doctor will have to verify it. And for the sister-in-law thing that Rida mentioned, my sister-in-law said that if your system will achieve a good accuracy, for example, I take 10 scans and your system gives me 9 scans with accurate report, I will develop trust on your software. So this will definitely reduce my time, that I will have trust. Even if one report is generated wrong, I will have trust that I have to look and the easy tumors will be diagnosed with your software. So she was hopeful that we will be doing good in the market.
Nice. So I think this would be beneficial as well for the national level, like for the government itself, right? If the government can improve the general health of the population using your software, I think they could. It's very reasonable to say they could support your startup. So not only the hospital, but it's a national conversation here. And my last feedback is about, I saw that you wrote on your slide that you're going to launch in 3 years from now. And I think you should try to understand if you can build a smaller version of your product, your MVP, or a smaller solution, and just try to sell it or use in real life condition situations, right? A smaller version, even if it's not finished yet, as Riden said, try to engage with your final users now and improve your product. Don't wait until you have it 100% finished and then start deploying it, even if it's for free, just for trials. Okay. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Good luck.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Eamon, for joining us. And I believe that you are going to make wonders in the near future. Thank you very much for joining us today. I would request the judges if they can drop their scores on the pitch and the business viability of Eamon Sloshai. Thank you very much, Eamon, for joining us.
You're welcome.
Perfect. So with this, some of the startups there who were supposed to join us are having some technical issues. And before we end this session, I would have a bit of chit chat with both of our judges who are very experienced, who have a knowledge and depth knowledge of what they are doing. So I will start first with Rida. So Rida, you have been the founder of the Explore Dreams, and you have 16 years of diverse experience with the financial modeling, the business modeling, especially the growth strategies. So what do you see, where do you see the ecosystem of Pakistan going, and what is your advice for the startup?
So first of all, it's called I Explore Realms, not Dreams. So just clarify that. I'm Pakistani. I'm based in the UK. So I have noticed an emerging trend over the last few years of this real entrepreneurial spirit sort of coming out of Pakistan, which has been really, really encouraging and heartwarming. And I think it's a great opportunity to connect with overseas Pakistanis to support in any way that they can. So really supportive of your initiative and this level of activity, because bringing sort of opinions from, say, Gustavo and the different startups, they may think they have the best resources in Pakistan, but actually there's global resources that they really need to tap into and understand how the global sort of startup ecosystem is emerging and evolving, and they really need to tap into that quickly. And I think Gustavo also touched upon this, that there's got to be the spirit of grow fast, fail fast. Don't be afraid to fail. Like, you learn so much from that process. So it's really encouraging. I think as a very young country, there is that backbone of entrepreneurial sort of mindset that we can sort of tap into and really build on those networks. And in terms of my own experience, I'm actually a qualified lawyer, barrister, but I've had a number of creative businesses over the last 15, 18 years. But only in the last 18 months, we've been developing an education gaming platform that offers subjects from the national curriculum through augmented reality, virtual reality, and AI. And the ultimate objective is to revolutionize the way children learn. And for me, the measure of success would be if we've reached children in Pakistan sitting in a village who don't have access to high quality education, but as long as they've got access to a device, a tablet, a computer somehow in the community, in the family, they should be able to go into our gaming platform and just learn any topic that they want to learn. And one of the things that we're doing is try to engage the culture and curricula of all continents and all nationalities. So at the moment, we're very focused on the British national curriculum because of its historical impact on countries that it's occupied. It is a curriculum that's followed by lots of countries. But actually, we're merging that with our kind of next two audiences will be the Middle East and South Asia, because there's a low level of edtech advancement. And a lot of the other regions, Europe, the Far East in particular, and the US, have a huge, aggressive level of progress on 21st century skills and really advancing what they're doing. So I'm in a slightly different position, being slightly older. I've had a full-time job, which has kind of supported my seed funded our prototype. And actually, I've learned a huge amount from every single accelerator that I've been a part of. And I really encourage everyone that's thinking of starting something or has an idea, just test it, just try it out, and embrace the failure, embrace what you learn from it.
Wonderful. That is amazing, and I believe a wonderful insights that you have provided to us. And I'm sure the people who are watching on Facebook and the people who are watching this in the future days, they will greatly benefit from these insights. So my next question is from Gustavo. So Gustavo, you are the founder of the startup Space.io, where you help the users achieve a critical user mass. So my first question is, what will be your tip or advice to the startups, idea stage or the MVP stage startup who are just going into the market? I am sure there must be some tailored advices for each startup in each vertical, but what is the generic advice that you give to your startups in startup Space.io that are scaling up and going into the market?
Yeah, well, my advice is that a startup could be a different beast. It's quite different than traditional business. If you think about a startup as an airplane that's running on a runway, right? And you have a certain length of runway, and you have to take off eventually. Otherwise, we all know what happens if the airplanes they don't eventually take off, right? So if you think yourself as a startup and you're committed to take off, you're going to be focusing growth, right? And you can attract some species that we call investors, right? Those guys, they are very attracted by rapid growth. And if you can change the ideas and your mindset and the way you see the world along your at the same time you're running on this runway, you'll be able to change your idea and also your technology, the way you solve problems. Maybe you can solve a similar problem with the same technology. Maybe you can use a little bit of slightly different technology to solve the same problem. But the more you speed up on this runway, you're gonna learn about what the problem, the actual problem you're trying to solve. And if you change fast, you'll be able to be very, very attractive to investors. And investors are a good thing. They can help you to speed up even more. Even startups that don't require investments, they usually go after investment because it's a way to grow faster and put between yourself and your competitors a barrier, right? If you grow faster, right? Today is really easy for other competitors to copy your technology. Software, code, everybody can do that. We outsource, it's in the cloud. Large companies are providing tools that we can use to solve technological problems. So it's a good advantage if you're going to the market now to be fast. And of course you can bootstrap, you can raise funds with your friends, family. But if you're growing fast and you're changing and you're demonstrating that your MVP is already in the world, in contact with your user, right? And they are providing some feedback, and you're improving. You have a good team, and you're speeding up things. You're going to be very attractive to other people that would be willing to help. Not only investors, but co-founders, even clients, early adopters, right? Partners. So think about growth and how we're going to run on this runway and eventually take off. And that's not something that the traditional business they necessarily need to think about, right? They don't need to grow that fast because it's a different mindset. So if you are a startup, just take advantage of this methodology or this way to see the world, which is actually really try to speed up and grow fast and take off your business. And then of course you can always fix things later. But think about how you're going to start to take off.
Wonderful, amazing. Now, my next question will be more specifically for the startups. There are startups in Pakistan who have achieved a product market fit. They have the strategy, they have the team. Now they are looking to scale up and grow to the global market. So Rita, what is your advice to the startups who have achieved the product market fit and they're expanding globally? And what specifically would you advise to them when it comes to pitching in front of investors?
Well, the first thing I'd say is speak a little bit slower, because you can have a fantastic pitch, but if it's so fast that somebody doesn't quite grasp what you're saying, so really, really practice and rehearse. So your presentation is really, really important. So I would recommend that people sort of film themselves, get feedback from friends and family in advance of pitching to investors, because sometimes you'll only have one opportunity and it could be a make or break on something very simple and cosmetic. In terms of kind of global reach, I mean, I've been very, very cautious in how we've developed our concept, and it's been very agile but iterative over a period of time, and we've deliberately not done any marketing because we're really focusing on the product. So we've had 3 core phases of curriculum innovation, visualization, and we're now just starting rapid prototyping. But we've had it's very much user-led and user co-designed. So I would recommend to companies that they must really dominate their local market before they get too distracted with international global markets, unless they've got a market that they're very familiar with. So I've worked in the Middle East, my husband is Arab. So we have networks, friends, family, professional networks there. So if you know these markets, I would really recommend that people sort of expand into markets where they have that infrastructure. And if you're going to a new market, so the forest would be a very new market for us, I would just tread cautiously. I mean, if you just read or listen to podcasts by Jack Ma and Jeff Bezos and all these global sort of business icons, there's lots of lessons to learn from how they've succeeded and more importantly where they failed. So where they've tried to expand too quickly, or when eBay was trying to sort of expand in China, they just didn't have an understanding of the local market. So I would do research. I would really use a bit of a common sense approach to, you have this amazing global ambition, which is fantastic, and that energy is really great for business, but it has to be balanced with a practical, achievable goal as well.
Wonderful, amazing. Gustavo, you have been an investor and you have been on the side of the table. So when a startup starts pitching in front of you, what are you looking for? Is it the team? Is it the idea? Is it the traction? Or is it the global market? What is it that you look for in a startup who is scaling up?
I think it's many things, right? Mainly the problem that they're solving. I want to hear something about the solution. How potentially big is the market and how can they scale, right? Today it's very easy to scale with technology, but it's very accessible to everyone. But mostly I like the pages where I can see a story, right? If someone tells me a story, I won't forget anymore. Like those guys, the creators, I will never forget. They're telling the stories and the video, and they, the lamps. They build the lamps and everything, and how they start their business. So if you can tell me a story about yourself and how you connect, especially with the problem that you're solving, I will never forget.
Perfect. Thank you very much to both of the judges, Rida and Gustav, for joining us today. And at the end of every session, I tell to the audience that whether anyone learns or not, I am the one who always learns from the judges. I learn something new every day with every episode of Startup.PK PitchFest. So before we end session, if we have with us Ma'am Saira Qayyum, so she's the head of the Women Entrepreneurship Movement in Pakistan. And ma'am, would you like to add a few words before we end this session?
Hello, everyone. I was thoroughly enjoying the feedback of both the judges. I was just co-hosting it, so I was just managing the back support with Arthur. So yes, again, I agree with Gustavo that and Rida as well, that this is the age of collaboration. So for example, if something good is happening in Pakistan, we should connect with the global world as well. So for example, if the ideas in Pakistan, they are good, they're well cooked, but they're not finding investors. So somebody from other countries, they can come and they can see. So, these connections are extremely important. As Rida again said, your network is important. If you're entering into new markets, that infrastructure has to be there. And as Gustavo just, mentioned that, you need to, attract the investors in a way that they remember. So when they will remember, when you know your idea and your market very well. So, I mean, each and every comment by these judges, they were so to the point and they were so correct that this is what we are trying to do in Pakistan. We want to, find the best brain, the best idea, and connect them with the best investors and with mentors, so that they can get, a good, you can say, comments and recommendations and mentoring, so that, they'll get that confidence and they can move on with that idea. Because here, startups, when they come up with something good, and if they can't find, right, appropriate mentors, what they do is that they say, okay, now we are, tired. We want to do some job. So then you're losing that brilliant idea if they can't find that enabling environment. So these judges and such platforms, Arthur, thank you again for inviting and for finding such brilliant judges across the world, not country, but world, so that they can, listen to Pakistani startups and our ideas, and we can, actually learn from their experience. So I think, yes, the whole world is now shrinking and we all are becoming one. So it's the time that we come together. The best brains should come together and they can solve world's big problem together. So I think this is our shared responsibility as, humans, not as like citizens of XYZ countries, but as humans. This is what I believe. So thank you again, all the judges. I hope you enjoyed the pitches, and see, like, young boys, when they pitched, I was so happy that, parents are now, encouraging their kids to start right from the beginning. So when you start right from the beginning, when you train your kids from school phase, then they can, I think, become more confident, and, they can, because support of parents are also very important, because here in Pakistan, we live in a collective society. We live in a culture where we do ask, permission from our parents from each and every, for each and every steps. So yes, again, thank you so much. And I hope it was a good experience for you as well. So it was.
Yeah, I loved it. I really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much to both the judges, to Gustavo. Before we end, can we have a group picture? We have thumbs up, and then we'll take a screenshot for this picture. Smile. Thank you very much to both of the judges. Thank you very much, Saira Qayyum. So with this, we come to the end of today's Startup.pk PitchFest 17. I formally thank you all the startups who have been with us today, to our judges who have been providing very wonderful insights and amazing analysis and feedback to our startups. We would surely engage these judges in our future sessions as well. So thank you very much, everyone, and thank you for joining us. With this, take care and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.